Today we are talking about conditional statements, and you'll have two homework assignments. You'll have some homework assignments from the textbook. You can do those on a separate sheet of paper. And then we will have one homework that is a handout that is attached in the packet. You can also find these questions on the website posted under the classroom resources. So we'll analyze statements in if-then form, write the converse of the if-then statement, use algebra to write two-column proofs, and use properties of equality to write geometric proofs. So in this case, first thing we're going to talk about is conditional statement, and it can be written in if-then form. So if, for example, if it is raining outside, so if it is raining, then the sidewalk is wet. And that makes sense, right? If it's raining outside, the sidewalk will be wet. So the parts of the conditional statement are the hypothesis, the given information or condition. So this is the hypothesis. This is where it goes. And it says there's a little P in parentheses there. That's because that's what we represent the hypothesis with. And the second part after that, that is the conclusion or the Q. So the hypothesis is the given piece of information. The given piece of information up here is it's raining. That's given. And the conclusion is the result. Because it is raining, the sidewalk is wet. All right, and we'll talk about that with geometry in algebra. So here, we talked about the P and Q. The notation for the conditional statement is we go straight forward. And it says P arrow Q, and you can read it as one of two ways. One of them is if P, then Q, or you could also read it as P implies Q. Raining outside implies the sidewalk is wet. If it is raining, then the sidewalk is wet. The notation for the converse statement, and in this case it says Q, then P, if Q, then P, or Q implies P. And we'll talk about how to write that, but basically we would write that the other way, and we can write that right underneath here. And if it was the converse of this statement here, you can draw a little arrow, and we can say we're going to write the conclusion first. If the sidewalk is wet, then it is raining. So looking down here, we can see the conditional statement says P then Q, and the converse is basically the crisscross. So we're going to switch that. So the hypothesis was originally it is raining. So that is coming second when we do the converse. And the sidewalk is wet. That was the conclusion originally at first. So if you do the converse, you switch the order of which it was given. And we can see some examples. So statement number 1, all FMHS students are jackets. Conditional. If you are an FMHS student, then you are a yellow jacket. So the hypothesis or the condition, we're talking about FMHS students. The conclusion, oh, I circled that in the wrong one. This one should be in the green. So if you were doing colors, that should be green. And this one should be blue. So conditional, straightforward. If you are an FMHS student, then you are a yellow jacket. So basically we just rewrote this statement in if-then form. And then if we're talking about the converse, we're just going to flip them. So we take the blue and we write it first, and we take the green and we write it second. So if you are a yellow jacket, then you are a Fort Mill High School student. I guess I should underline the U there as well. So we can see that we just switched those two. Next statement, all cows eat grass. So we got cows, and then we got eat grass. So originally, the conditional statement says, if an animal is a cow, or if you are a cow, in this case, we're talking about animals. If an animal is a cow, then it eats grass. All right, now if we're going to switch that, the if is going to stay up front. So if, and then we're going to switch the two. If an animal eats grass, then put our comma, then the animal is a cow. Okay. Now we should pause this right here, and then I'd like you guys to try to do this, and then I'll have the answer here. So pause the video, and then I'm going to keep going. Vertical angles are congruent. So write that as an if-then statement. We'll start with if an angle is vertical, well, I guess if we're talking about vertical angles, we're talking about two angles. If two angles are vertical, we'll put our comma in there. I guess I forgot my N on then. Then the angles are congruent. And then if we're going to switch that or do the converse, we're still going to say if first. So if are congruent, then the angles are vertical.